It has to get passed through our, basically, our chief of police, and he's a little bit against the drones. So,
I know his daughter, so.
yeah, as of right now, due to the fact that,
As a matter of fact, she may be working with our drones a little bit.
Yeah.
Colston?
Maybe.
Kara Colston?
yeah,
That's Chief Colston's daughter.
yeah, so maybe you can kind of push her into the,
Yeah,
and you get her into the drones. But yeah, it's just more or less due to the fact that it's an uncharted territory a lot of the times. A lot of the other departments are doing it, but I think we're just a little bit hesitant to start. But if you want to go to the next slide. So it's actually through the U.S. There's actually 347 agencies, 35% sheriff, state, city or county, fire actually uses them too. And then, like I said, in-state or in-city police use them as well. There was a huge jump in 2016 for them. It actually was, that's kind of when the whole DGI started kicking off and actually being affordable and stuff like that for the departments. And like I said, before that, there was kind of that gray area of not knowing, like, you know, what they can and cannot do with them. But now it's kind of, a lot of agencies, especially Dallas, is really getting into it. Go to the next one. So, especially like in search and rescue, as you can see on that drone, there's actually two cameras. One's an aerial drone and then one's a thermal drone. So the thermal drone actually can be used at nighttime, and it can pick out anything. It's actually really good for like if a suspect is running away, or if we're trying to locate a runaway, a kid up in, like, you know, especially in Cove where all those trees are, especially back in some of the schools there's those tree lines back there that's super hard to find. So especially with kids, this would be, you know, for runaways, it would be really good too. You can go to the next one. With our traffic collision, we actually can, like I said, it can go up, it can take a whole bunch of pictures of the scene, and actually we can reconstruct that in a program back at the police department, so that way it can actually, where the skid marks were, where the vehicles were sitting, on large accidents or fatalities. That's actually kind of, they do a lot of basically on the ground pictures, but the drone would actually be able to do a 3D model of it. So, with like for schools and active shooters and stuff like that, drones would actually be coming real handy. It would actually give us a bird's eye view. Not only like outside, but inside we can actually fly drones. If the door is open, they've actually even got drones to where they can break glass and actually use accessories like the flashbangs, stuff like that, to where it actually works really well. And we can actually, instead of putting somebody in danger, we can fly that drone in. It can go a lot faster. You can actually program them to sense people and actually identify a suspect to a victim. So like the way that if they're holding something, the way that they're carrying themselves, can actually identify somebody that way. Go to the next one. Again, with like the traffic, it actually can do crime scene analysis, like I said, take a whole bunch of pictures. And so that way, like when we have cold cases, we can actually submit this feature into the case, and then that way, once we get more info, we get more, basically someone coming forward, or, you know, basically like back in like the 80s, 70s, where they weren't able to do forensics, like, you know, like DNA testing and stuff like that. So that way in the future, if we have technology that can solve a case that we don't have now, they can look back at it and be like, okay, well, this is exactly what happened due to the fact that we have that imaging, because, you know, picture's worth 1,000 words, but
yeah.
If you have a 3D model, that's even better. So,
yeah.
Like I said, for surveillance, that one actually can go around 70 miles an hour. So it actually can, if we were in a pursuit or anything like that, it actually can get to the scene a lot faster than police officers can in their patrol units. due to the fact that we have to cut through streets, everything like that, where they have a clear shot right to where it can go. And then you can actually, like I said, you can actually do follow mode to where it'll actually follow, if you pick a vehicle that's taken off, it'll actually follow that vehicle if you mark it to that,
Yeah,
so.
that's something like your drone does. Does that happen?
Yeah, you can actually have, especially for the DJIs, there's a lot of sources out there, like third-party sources, and that you can use with the drones. That it's like open software to where you can use it. Even if DJI doesn't have it, you can set up to where, like I said, for that scanning.
Yeah.
For the like Google Maps,
Yeah.
that's a third-party source. Whereas, like I said, for I think that's also a third-party source where it can do tracking. But I think DJI also has something like that in the actual settings.
These two drones can be tracking based off the app.
Oh, can they?
Yeah.
Yes. And then, especially with bigger cities, crowd monitoring, like I said, it can actually use AI, and it can actually identify, like I said, suspects versus just regular people. If somebody's sticking out in a crowd, like it can actually use the flow of the crowd, and if somebody's kind of like sitting there or kind of sticking out, it'll actually identify that person to where, as us right there looking at that, we couldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, they can see a lot more stuff, variables.
Mhm. And then go to the next one. And then, like I said, there's just the aerial zoom camera where you can, like I said, you can zoom in really good with the camera and get better imaging. And then the thermal camera, it's just basically like it says, the eyes in the dark, where you're able to identify a person for their thermal image a lot easier. So, yeah.
That's all we have.
And then you guys got any questions?
Yeah. It seems like something maybe the city might buy into, to use fire, police, all
Yeah,
that
it would
stuff.
be, I mean, it would be nice to get a grant to, we've presented it to them before, exactly with the one that we're going with is this one, and it's around $15,000 for just one drone.
Yeah.
And then I think it's to kind of like get the software and all that kind of stuff, it's probably around 20 to 30,000 altogether. But like I said, it's more or less I think it's more or less PR. Like, they don't want the police, because people are already pushing that we're, violating their rights and stuff like that, where it could be taken as a different way of.
I understand the monitoring.
So some people, of course, definitely would not like that.
That's probably the biggest.
So, yeah.
Oh, he's a police officer.
I just saw one walk in and there's
Oh, is
Got
it?
one from the Killeen.
Oh, is he here? Nice. All right, there you go.